All right. Shalom. This is your brother Amawan Ariyah coming to you with another lesson. And before we begin, I want to start by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKodash. The honor to your apostles, a great millstone who do rule well. Shalom to the hopeful one-third elect, and a few sisters who are listening in silence and also in subjection. To you all I say Shalom. Today's lesson, man, is going to be in regards to the global recession and the global food shortages that are about to pop off, that are actually going on right now. Okay, and it was foretold through the scriptures that these things would happen. And one of the scriptures I wanted to open up with was going to be in the book of Revelation 6. Okay, and it's about the seal being broken. And listen to what the angel says. Okay. Because, it's very important that we pay attention and take note as to what's going on right now, because this is precedent. Never before has anybody seen things such as this, a global food shortage, right? A global recession for the most part. So let me grab it real quick. All right, and it starts by saying, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." So this is John the Revelator, with this angel, and the angel is revealing unto John the things that are about to come. So he's telling him, "Come and see." And I saw and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and the crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. All right. Now we know that white represents what? Purity. Okay, and horses represent what? Power. And he that sat on him, right? And we know that those horses are representations of what? The chariots. And he that sat on him had a bow, and that he is Yahweh Shai. And a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Exactly right. According to 2 Ezra 13, when Yahweh Shai cracks those clouds, okay, there's going to be a lot of death going on, during that time. Okay, but we see, and I'll play this video here in a little bit, but we see that America, Babylon is going through what we call a gradual breakdown. Okay, the money system of Babylon is being corrupted. They're about to go to a whole new different currency, probably next year, called the CBDC. And they've been using different forms of it throughout time, in the past, but they're going to make it mandatory now. Okay, and along with that CBDC, you're going to have coupled with it, the digital all. Okay, we know what that is to be the M to the T to the O to the B, right? So right now we're just seeing a global breakdown of society, of the Western society, so to speak. Okay, and also the Eastern society. Any country that is dealing with, America on any level, they're going to be going through it as well. All right, but nevertheless, let's play this video real quick. Well, no, let me read this verse real quick. Let me finish reading this, and then we'll go into that, okay? And it says, "Therefore all hands be faint." Oh, nope, Salag. Go back, Salag, Revelation 6, 1. Revelation 6:3, it says, "And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, 'Come and see.' And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they shall kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." Okay, now this is also, if you've been doing your studies, right, if the Lord's been dealing with you, you'll see that other horse, that other power, which was red, represents Esau, Edom, right? Or Esau, Ashashua, Adawamium, right? Esau, the red. All right, this is he that is sitting on that red horse, and the power that was given to him, right, was the power of the sword, his blessing. And this is what he has held over the heads of many nations for a very long time, the capability of dropping nuclear bombs on them. And that they should kill one another, right? And there was given him a great sword. And what's happening right now? We see that Esau is going against Esau. America against Russia. Same thing, same nation. The scripture says if Satan's kingdom be divided, it cannot stand. So we're seeing the breakdown of Esau, Edom's kingdom. Okay? This is beautiful. We get to see it in real time. Salah. Revelation 6:5 says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And that black horse represents death. Right? From the plagues and the famines that are about to hit this place. Okay? The lack of bread. The lack of food. The lack of water. No light. No way to, even if you got food, no light to cook the food. Revelation 6:6 says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay? And when you go to that word, penny, that was a day's wage, man. Fat boy. Okay, that was a day's wage. It's a lock, y'all. Airplane mode real quick. Okay, let's go down real quick. Let's get the understanding of this. Okay, see that word there, denarian. Denarian.
Strong's G 1220. Denarian. Denarian.
Okay, so when you click on that word denarian, let's see. A penny, a pence, penny's worth. Denarius, containing 10. A Roman silver coin. In New Testament time, it took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC. Increased to 16. It was a principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wages. So, going back, right, Revelation 6, it says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny. So, it's going to cost whatever you make in a day to pay for your food, man, for your bread. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. And what we see now in society, what is going on? Inflation is on a super rise. I think it's like 8.5%. Okay? And, your boy Brandon, he's trying to ease it by, giving out this little gas tax relief or whatever, but that's only like 18 cents on the gas. That's nothing. The people are going to get pissed with that, And even with that, he's not really trying to, see, the thing is, even if they do give that 18%, what the gas companies are going to do, they're going to raise the cost of the gas by that much, so there really isn't a difference, So all you're doing is just, you're just prolonging the inevitable, all right? Things are looking real, real bad, looking real shitty, and it was foretold, man, that these things would happen, okay? And rightly so, because this place has to go, man. This place is the epitome of wickedness, okay? So let me play this video so that way we can back up what we just read, the uprising of the uprising and the sedition of men is on the rise, the rumors of wars, the proxy wars, all these things are popping off right now as we speak. We don't have to wait another 10 or 20 years to see these things coming to happen. Yo, it's popping off right now if you're paying attention. So nevertheless, let me go ahead and hit this play button.
Welcome to Gravitas and Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Let's get started. Is at an all-time low against the US dollar. Fuel inflation has crossed 40%. Is India prepared to deal with the growing recessionary pressures? What do these trends mean for you? We'll discuss all of that and more tonight.
Remember what I was saying, a global recession. So the recession is not going to happen only in Babylon, but it's going to happen across and around the world. All nations are going to feel this, this impact of not being able to buy their bread, not being able to buy the simple things in life. Right now there's a tampon shortage in Babylon. Imagine that. So the Lord is doing His thing, man. He's working not only on the minds of the kings here, but on the minds of all the heathen kings, right? To bring about these upcoming famines and things of that nature. So let's continue. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing but death and destruction coming to Babylon. There's nothing but death and destruction coming to Babylon, okay? And not just Babylon, across the world, man. The Lord is dealing with the whole world, but primarily Babylon. They're going to receive that righteous indignation of the Heavenly Father, man. This is where that lake of fire mingled with glass is going to be, man. It's going to be a desert when the Lord gets done with this place. But let's continue. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt the video. Let's continue.
Those pictures were from the 1970s. What you saw was 6 different protests in 6 different countries in the 1970s. Why were people protesting? Because the cost of living had skyrocketed, inflation was surging, prices of essential commodities from bread to oil had shot up, there was a severe shortage of energy, millions had lost their jobs, so people took to the streets to demand relief. Economists call that period the Great Inflation. It lasted almost 2 decades, from 1965 to 1982. And why are we talking about it in 2022? Because history may be repeating itself. Look at our world today. High inflation, energy shortages, job losses, and the ubiquitous struggle to make ends meet. Our world today is suffering economic distress, and once again, people have taken to the streets. The situation today is eerily similar to the 1970s. Inflation is hurting everyone. We've been talking about it on this show for weeks now. Earlier, the panic was limited to the stock markets. Now it has spread beyond. The question is a recession imminent? How bad will it be? How long will it last? On Gravitas tonight, we'll discuss as we bring you an assessment of the global economy. And the biggest concern right now is the cost of living. It is going up everywhere. So reserve banks around the world are trying to contain inflation. How?
See, the thing is, they're pissed off about the cost of living, the rise of inflation. And what you see here is a lot of these different Edomite countries. Yeah, you might find a couple of Jakes in these different nations, but Jake been living in harsh conditions, man. It's nothing new to Jake. We've been living in harsh conditions, having to deal with not getting paid enough, but still having to survive. Okay, but this video just shows you, man, that there's an unrest among the people, man. They're not happy at all with what's going on in the world, okay?
1920, the Islamic State attacked another Sikh temple in Kabul. Around 25 people were killed then. That attack was random. This one was not. The Islamic State claims this was a revenge attack. Revenge for what? For the insulting comments against Prophet Muhammad. Everyone knows that story by now. A ruling party spokesperson in India made insulting remarks about the Prophet.
Fourth biggest economy, Colombia. Mr. Petro has won Colombia's run-off presidential election. He has clinched 50.4% of the votes. His rival, Rodolfo Hernandez, secured 47.3%. The victory margin is good. What makes Petro's win more remarkable is the fact that he will be Colombia's first ever leftist leader. Never in its modern history has this country been ruled by a left-wing politician. The top office has always been run by either conservatives or moderates. Gustavo Petro has broken the spell.
This will not be a change to build more hatred.
See what else they got up
Against them. We'll tell you all about it, but first let's look at where the current war is going, the war in Ukraine. Where is it headed? When will it end? This question was posed to NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Do you know what he said? He said the Ukraine war could go on for years. Nobody knows when it could end, when it would end. And then he said, we need to be prepared for it to last for years. As far as assessments go, it's vague to say the least. But here's another question. If this war is going to go on for years, what does the NATO plan to do in the meantime? Stoltenberg wants the military alliance, NATO, to continue supporting Ukraine, even if the support comes at a huge economic and energy cost. But are NATO allies prepared to go that far? Because this war has opened a new front. It's called energy. Europe is at war with its energy provider. Russia provides more than 40% of Europe's natural gas. Russian energy giant Gazprom has already reduced supplies to Germany and Italy. Come winter, the heaters will be turned on. Europe will need more gas, and Russia may not oblige. Italy has warned its people. It says there is a possibility of restricted gas use this winter. Germany, too, is gearing up for a gas shortage. The country is trying to fill its gas storage capacity. And after that, it plans to compensate by burning more coal. So it's a long, cold winter ahead for Europe. Now, couple this with the economic crises we were talking about. The rising cost of living, the rising cost of essentials, a prolonged war is only going to exacerbate all these problems. A lot has been done to try and end this war, from sanctions to peace talks, at least 3 rounds of peace talks. Everything has failed so far. More than 4,500 civilians have died, more than 5,500 have been injured, some 14...
You see, things are just getting worse, 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 not getting better. Not getting better at all. Okay, I had an article I wanted to read real quick too. Let me see if I can find that. I always want you to pay for stuff. All right. The title says Planet Hunger. All right. This is going into the global food crisis. And you hear what that chick said before, man. These things can possibly go on for years. Okay. So we're looking at not just a couple of months of, discomfort when it comes to inflation, but we're talking about years, man, where, it's going to be hard for you to get food. It's going to be hard for you to pay for your food. It's going to be hard for you to do anything out here, man. It's going to be really, really, you're going to go through straits, especially Jake. Global food shortages, we've never heard of anything like that. But let's continue. It says Planet Hunger inside the global food crisis. Putin and greedy CEOs are already putting 20 million people on the brink of starvation. If we don't make big changes now, we will face mass food shortages. And it says, without enough food, there is only hunger, chaos, and violence. See? And Esau Edom knows this. He knows that by not providing food and things of that nature, that this is what's going to happen. This is going to be the end result. But this is what they want. Russian President Vladimir Putin not only knows this better than anyone, he also weaponized it. With the Russian invasion of Ukraine, he has deliberately disrupted the country's wheat supply, triggering a global food crisis. Ukraine is the sixth largest exporter of wheat in the world. And by blocking the Ukrainian ports, blowing up rail lines, stealing grain, and killing farmers, Putin has effectively taken about 20 million tons of wheat off the market. Global wheat production is at about 850 million tons, so this is hardly enough to cause a global famine, right? But it is enough to cause the price of wheat to jump up for more than 60% already this year. And what does it say? What did it say in Revelation 6? Let's see. Let's go back and see what it says here. Let's see what it says here. It says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts that said, a measure of wheat for a penny, a day's wage, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, a day's wage. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine," which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this truth. Okay? So the cost of wheat, even though it's not going to cause a food shortage right away, but the cost of it is going to go up, like I said. Global wheat production is 850 million tons, so this is hardly enough to cause a global food famine, but it is enough to cause the price of wheat to jump more than 60% already this year. In the U.S., where the average American spends less than 10% of their income on food, this will hardly be noticeable. But for people in the developing world, many of whom spend 40% or more of their income on food, that could mean the difference between eating and going hungry. High food prices have already had a devastating impact in poor nations, pushing 20 million people into starvation in sub-Saharan Africa alone and sparking riots in Sri Lanka. Yo, this is getting bad, man. This is a worldwide food shortage, or it's going to be a worldwide not being able to buy bread situation that's about to pop off. Okay? And people are going to be taken to the streets. All right? They're going to be rioting and things of that nature. It's not going to be pretty out here, man. This is Revelation 13:6. It says, "How he for the day of Yahweh is at hand, and it shall come at all hands faint, and every mind shall melt." Okay? "And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel, both with the wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." Okay? Woo. So the Lord is bringing this. The Lord is the one that's bringing this judgment, man. He's bringing this judgment. Okay? And you're not going to get no understanding Esau, Edom as to what's going on. The rest of you heathens and you 2/3, y'all not going to have no clue as to what's going on. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. So there's not going to be no wisdom and understanding in those days. Let's see something alive. Okay, let me grab Amos. This is what I was looking for. Amos 8:11. Okay, to kind of explain that wisdom and understanding is not going to be available in those days. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Almighty," right? "That I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. And in that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, Thy God, O Dan." Okay, see? So that day is coming, man. With that lack of bread, which is not, that lack of wisdom and understanding according to this truth that provides stability is not going to be available. And this is why you should be trying to obtain the knowledge and wisdom of Yahweh Shai now, while you still have time. You see, while the evil days cometh not. Okay. So going on, let me see if I can back out of here and go back to the previous verse, Isaiah 13. All right, it says in verse 11, it says, and I will punish, and this is the reason why the Lord is doing this. It says, I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. Right, the world, i.e. the heathens, and also the wicked being who? Esau, Edom, and 2/3 of our own people. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay, so the Lord is bringing these things about. The Lord is the one that's doing this. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and I hate that name, but he's the one that's bringing this destruction, man. Food, you got a shortage. Not only that, you also got shortages of police. Like, yo, these people, they're 911 is gonna be a joke in your town because there's a shortage of policemen. The police don't want to do that. You know, nobody wants to be a cop anymore. Let me see what this says. Let's see if I can pull up this article. It says, Durham, North Carolina, CNN, in a growing number of American cities, if you call the police, there are fewer officers taking calls. Why? Because there is no gas, first of all. The gas is so high that most of these cities are burning through their budget. So most of these calls that they're getting, they have to pick and choose which one they can go to because they can't afford the gas. Their budget is blown. Okay? And on top of that, you got policemen who don't necessarily agree with what's going on in the world today, so they're pretty much walking out on the job. They're cashing on their pensions. They don't want to they don't want to do the job no more. Let's continue. It says, police departments across the nation are raising concerns about current and future staffing levels. CNN reached out to nearly 20 departments nationwide, along with other outside recruiters for departments for the story. They all point to similar concerns, including COVID-19, the great, right, that whole George Floyd thing, the climate for law enforcement, and also local reform efforts that are making and retention difficult. The charges have led the chief of police in Durham, North Carolina, to join her officers in patrolling her own city. See, so now, no matter what position, you got to be brought down low, man. You got to beat like a regular cop now. The department is down 90 officers and out of a budget force of 627. The department has started to offer a $5,000 bonus for new hires to fill its ranks. So it's getting hard. And this is not the only city that's going through this, man. There's a lack of polices or cops all over Babylon. Okay? It's not looking good. It says, DeSantis says plans to offer $5,000 bonus to out-of-state police relocating to Florida is not related to vaccine mandate. Okay, whatever. Okay, shit is hitting the fan. Things are getting worse gradually. If you're not paying attention, it's going to take you by surprise. And who's going to be able to stand in that thing, man? Who's going to be able to survive these things that are going on, man? Because if you're not in this truth, man, if you're not doing the will of Yahweh Shai, I don't see any way that you will be able to make it. Okay? It says, Isaiah 9:1 says, the burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the hearts of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Okay? And I will set the Egyptians against Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. And that's exactly what's going on in Babylon. and I will destroy the counsel thereof. That's that darkness. No light. The moon not going to give her light. The sun's not going to give its light. And they shall seek the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So yeah, I mean, who you think that's going to be? And the water shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. Okay? It's a lot. Let me see. But yeah, this is the end of Babylon. Okay? Egyptian going against Egyptian, kingdom against kingdom, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. It's about to get real out here, man. Why? All for the lack of food, lack of bread, lack of wisdom, not knowing what's going to be going on, not having an idea when's the next time you're going to be able to eat, feed your family. Shit hitting the fan. Let me see what else I got here. Nahum 1:6, it says, who can stand before his indignation, the righteous judgment, or the righteous anger of the Lord? And who can abide in his fierceness, in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. Yahweh is good, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. Okay? So if you're doing the will and the work of the Heavenly Father, he knows it. He knows that you trust in him. He's going to protect you in that day. Lord willing, we remain faithful. But with an overrunning flood will he make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. Okay? It says, what do you imagine against Yahweh? He will make an utter end. Okay? Affliction shall not rise up a second time. So when the Lord comes back, man, it's not going to be another uprising, but it's not going to be another situation where men got to get upset and try to, no. When the Lord comes back, he sets us in our position, right? That's going to be it. Nobody's going to be able to come up and rise up against the children of Israel ever again. Okay? And in order for you to make it on this round, Lord willing, man, we make it on this round. You have to be able, you got to be able to get into this truth now, man. And not just partially. You got to have 100% of this truth. And this is why. The men of Great Millstone have 100% truth. Okay? Because they're going by the scriptures that are in the Bible. Okay? And they're matching them up with what's going on today. They're giving you the full truth. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay? And right now it's all about preparing yourself mentally, spiritually for what's about to happen. You hear, the minds of men are going to melt out here because they're not going to know. They're not going to have a clue as to what's happening. So it's very imperative that if you've been given the blessing of knowing the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, it's very imperative that you seek Him first, man. Put everything else behind you, because the day of the Lord is coming, and He's coming with His fierce anger. Who's going to stand before him during that day? So with that, hopefully this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, all honors, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chahakodash. To you all say, Shalom.